Every conversation revolves around your name, as though talking about you would somehow lessen the impact you have had. The power you still have over their ideas is demonstrated by their urge to vent. The same story has become monotonous to many ears. What started out as understanding listening has evolved into an uneasy realization that they can't go forward while you can. They are attempting to vent about you to anyone who will listen. Because they miscalculated, undervalued, or bet against you, a number of people are feeling foolish and resentful. The snake pit opened up. Those phony smiles, hollow compliments, and convenient appearances when they needed something from you were all exposed for what they really were: manipulation. You see the pattern of dishonesty woven throughout what they referred to as family loyalty, friendship, or love. Their energy yelled something different from what their words indicated. In the darkness, several forces worked together against you. They forged coalitions based only on their shared goal to stifle your light. They congregated in corners and discussed ways to take advantage of your resources, energy, and heavenly gifts. You somehow felt it all, even though they planned the ideal moment to attack when you were most exposed. You used your spiritual wisdom to guide your practical decisions. You set boundaries, you restricted access, you respected your holy energy by not sharing your abilities with others who couldn't appreciate them, and you refused to spend another instant in the poisonous atmosphere they produced. You left places that drained your light, talks that made you feel less, and relationships that needed you to be lessened for them to feel comfortable. They were forced to look for a new source of energy because they wouldn't play low-vibration games. They attempted to subdue you, to subjugate your divine will to their earthly ambitions, and to crush your spirit under the weight of their demands and expectations. Guilt, shame, obligation, manipulation, gaslighting, and outright lying were all weapons they used. They launched these attacks knowing full well that you would break in the end, but you remained unwavering, unalterable. Everyone was amazed by your endurance, but especially those who had seen you bend before. They misjudged your heavenly heritage, your spiritual strength, and your connection to the source of energy. They didn't understand that your prior adaptability was a result of your decision rather than your weakness. The very basis of their authority started to fall apart when you made the decision to resist, and your independence set off a domino effect across the spiritual world. Others who had experienced comparable control started to realize their own strength. The repercussions of your refusal to submit were felt much beyond your own social group. Sensing this change, the controllers became alarmed and intensified their efforts to recover control. Their generosity came freely once you contributed without expecting anything in return. Your time, your energy, your resources, your wisdom, and your emotions. It was too late, far too late. They accepted everything without showing gratitude, acknowledgement, or reciprocation. They began to believe that they had a divine right to your boundless generosity. Your well would never run dry, your doors would never close, and your hands would never empty. That was the foundation upon which they based their lives. You were surrounded by users and takers who were drawn to your overflowing spirit's light. They used flattery and tokens of affection to cover up their parasitic behavior, carefully sprinkling just enough appreciation to keep you giving, but never enough to really recognize your commitment. They took what you had to offer and precisely assessed how little they could provide. If you've been touched by God's goodness, don't keep it to yourself. Click Super Thank You and sow a gift of $50 or more to help spread His light. Your giving becomes a ripple of grace, blessing hearts and building his kingdom. Let his overflow pour through you. Then one day, like a bolt of lightning, divine clarity struck. You were aware of the drainage pattern and the extent of your depletion. You realized that genuine generosity does not flow from servant to master, but rather between equals. There was an instant energetic void in their life as a result of your choice to shut off the valves and focus your energies on those who honored them. In an attempt to create new supply lines, they made contact with others. They made up stories about why you weren't who they believed you to be, why you had changed, and why you had turned selfish. It is clear from their frantic quest for substitute resources how much they relied on your kindness and how totally they took it for granted. You see through veils that others take for granted. You pick up on energy shifts that others completely overlook. You sense intentions that others are able to conceal from everyone else. Your senses are not limited to the physical world. It has always been your birthright to be aware of the supernatural. The difference is that you now have total faith in it. Their carefully crafted lies, which they believed to be masterful strategies, were revealed to your spiritual vision. Your senses were aroused to secrets they had hidden beneath layers of deceit. When they tried to manipulate you, their perfectly effective methods of doing so backfired. They were left in disbelief by your ability to see what was hidden, and they frantically attempted to patch up their facades as they fell apart entirely. Like the first rays of day after an unending night, divine clarity invaded your mind. You became fully aware of the roles being assigned, the games being performed, and the scripts being followed. You knew exactly which strings the puppet masters used to construct the illusions they wanted you to believe, and you were able to identify them. Their disbelief at your ability to see clearly shows up as accusations, denial, and attempts to cloud your own judgment. Their energy reveals the reality while they swear you are dreaming things, accuse you of being paranoid, and claim you are misinterpreting. For nothing is secret that shall not be made manifest, neither anything hid that shall not be known and come abroad. Luke 8:17. It's like walking into a room with the lights off and everybody's playing a part. But then, God flips the switch. Suddenly, all the masks fall, and what was hidden in the dark is standing there in plain view. That's what just happened in your life. What looked like love was manipulation. What looked like concern was control. What felt like safety was actually surveillance. And the moment you stopped playing their game, the whole stage collapsed. They feared your discernment more than anything, not because it was loud, but because it was accurate. You didn't need evidence on paper. You felt it in your spirit. You walked into those rooms and sensed the shift, the tension, the energy that didn't match the words. And when you started setting up boundaries, when you started asking the hard questions, when you stopped giving them unlimited access to your peace, their panic began. That fake comfort they built around you, it was a trap dressed in soft cushions. Every heart-to-heart conversation was an intel mission. Every "I'm just checking on you" text was coded surveillance. And when you finally stood up for yourself, when you said no more, they scrambled. "We need to talk about this," they said, trying to lure you back. "You're overreacting," they claimed, trying to plant doubt in the garden of your clarity. "This isn't like you," they pushed, trying to disconnect you from your power. "I'm worried about you," they offered, wrapping control in the language of care. But you weren't buying it anymore, because something in your spirit had shifted. You saw through the games, and once you see, you can't unsee. They tried to rewrite the story right in front of your eyes, denying conversations that you know happened, describing events that never took place, twisting your words until they barely resembled truth. But here's the catch. None of it worked anymore, because they no longer had your participation. You stopped playing the role they cast you in. You stopped doubting your own knowing just to keep the peace. You stopped betraying yourself to soothe their comfort. And the moment you pulled your energy out, their whole act fell apart. You weren't being difficult. You were being delivered. You weren't losing your mind. You were reclaiming your mission. And now that the illusion is shattered, they stand exposed, not because you fought them, but because you refused to fold. The light in you was never meant to be controlled. It was meant to be revealed. The rumor campaign now collapses catastrophically. They are urgently calling everyone who will listen about the mess they made, including shared connections, old friends, and even total strangers who have been sucked into their chaotic web. As that very story eludes them more and more, their desire to exert control over it intensifies. Their public humiliation is the result of what started as a whisper campaign against you. Every discussion that aims to undermine your character instead exposes theirs. Every narrative that portrays you as the bad guy unintentionally makes them the real enemy. Every charge that aims to separate you instead makes people more distant from you. Perfectly accurate is the return of the cosmic boomerang. You're not here by chance. Feel the pull? Tap, join to unlock truth, purpose, and a tribe that gets it. This is more than a membership. It's your calling. Cosmic justice is really accurate. They deliberately planned turmoil, carefully manipulated you and other people, sowed doubt with shrewd remarks, fostered conflict with selective information sharing, and promoted miscommunications by passing false information back and forth. They pretended to be concerned and rejoiced in the ensuing strife, destabilizing your connections, isolating your spirit, and reducing your strength was the sole goal of their entire operation. These orchestrators actively desired conflict in your life, literally brought it to pass by deliberate effort, focused their energies on upsetting your relationships, and pictured your support networks collapsing. After focusing their combined energies on creating conflict between you and the people you cared about, they watched with gratification as their sinister inventions materialized. They desired for you to be enmeshed in never-ending negative cycles, confined to defensive stances, overwhelmed by explanations and defenses, exhausted by ongoing conflicts on several fronts, diverted from your divine mission, estranged from your spiritual core, and weakened by emotional upheaval. However, everyone involved can see their orchestration become more and more apparent. The links become too clear to overlook. The patterns appear too regularly to be coincidental, and the time seems too ideal to be coincidental. The puppet strings that were formerly invisible now shine in the light of reality. People who once unknowingly took part in these plans now realize their manipulation, and others who once rejected your worries as insanity now see the evidence with their own eyes. Digital breadcrumbs create an indisputable trail that leads directly to their orchestration. Voice recordings intended to document your alleged transgressions instead capture their manipulative tactics. Screenshots carefully gathered as ammunition against you are shared in groups where context reveals their true nature, and messages that were previously sent in confidence are being forwarded to unintended recipients. Evidence shows up in front of gullible people, explaining this as a straightforward demand that sets off 1,000 stuttering defenses, the evidence of their deceit offered without explanation, needing no interpretation, their own words denouncing them more forcefully than any accusation ever could, their own actions exposing motives they frantically attempted to conceal. The jokes they told about you, the offensive remarks they made behind your back, the demeaning characters they created for amusement, the mocking imitations they offered for laughs, all of this is made public knowledge and reveals a lot more about their character than yours. There is now time-stamped, recorded, and indisputable evidence of their laughter at your expense. Their genuine affection is demonstrated by the casual harshness they never anticipated you would find. The deliberate mockery they thought would always be kept secret is now widely disseminated. Their fate is directly linked to the digital trail they left behind during their haughty moments of security. The evidence they produced with their own lips and fingers now serves as evidence against them in the collective consciousness court. Empty words, shaped by panic rather than reflection, and massive regrets consume them as consequences materialize. Their cries of desperation start as realization dawns, with false apologies emerging from places of fear rather than genuine remorse. "I'm sorry you feel that way," rather than "I'm sorry for what I did." "I never meant to hurt you," rather than "I was wrong to act as I did." "We need to move past this," rather than "I need to make amends." The consequences of attacking a divinely connected being show up in every aspect of their existence. The cost of undervaluing your spiritual protection turns out to be more than they ever could have predicted, and the price of confronting your energy becomes painfully evident. The masterminds are shown as amateurs. The puppet masters are exposed as simple puppets themselves. The strategic geniuses are exposed as short-sighted tacticians, and the powerful players are displayed as helpless pawns. They feel completely stupid today, while you remain unaffected by their schemes. Their intricate schemes fall apart around them. After realizing their mistake, they make desperate attempts to get in touch with you. Messages, calls, unexpected visits, third-party interventions, each attempt more desperate than the last, each strategy skillfully crafted to breach the boundaries they once ridiculed you for creating, each contact intended to reclaim the energy they previously exploited without repercussion. They have no influence over the speed of public exposure. Their personal shortcomings are made public. They turn their covert manipulations into warning stories. Their covert plans turn into lessons about objects. Their covert intentions turn into warning signs for the general public. The seclusion they used as a weapon against you completely vanishes, leaving them open to the group scrutiny they use to focus on you. They scream their frustrations to anyone who would listen. Family members become tired of hearing the same stories over and over again. Friends try to avoid the subject. Co-workers find other, more important things to do when the monologues start. And even strangers in public places find reasons to switch seats when the same stories are told. They continue, however, in a desperate attempt to get support for their version of events. The fact that they were complicit in a failed takedown has left many people feeling ashamed and resentful of how everything turned out. These include those who joined the campaign against you, those who helped spread lies, those who made exaggerated accusations without doing any research, those who sided against you without considering your point of view, and those who prematurely celebrated your alleged downfall. The wrong people know about your private conversations that make fun of you. But let justice roll on like a river, righteousness like a never-failing stream. Amos 5:24. It's like standing by a river that's been dammed up for years. The water was always there, powerful and persistent, but something blocked it. Falsehoods, manipulation, hidden motives. Then one day, God removes the dam, and what was held back begins to flow with unstoppable force. That's what divine justice looks like. That's what's happening now. You see, God doesn't miss. He's never late, and he's never too early. He waits until the moment when truth not only reveals itself, but releases something in everybody watching. Divine intervention delivers knowledge with surgical accuracy, right where it causes the greatest awakening. And now, the truth about their intentions, their games, their strategies, it's out in the open. Not because you shouted, but because heaven decided the time was right. They can't control the narrative anymore. That grip they used to have, gone. Every day, a new contradiction pokes holes in their carefully stitched up story. Every revelation unwinds their reputation. Every confirmation of what they tried to hide weakens the foundation of their carefully curated persona. The story they wrote is slipping through their fingers, and the world is watching them scramble to explain what cannot be defended. The image they protected so fiercely now shatters with a whisper. The fiction they worked so hard to preserve unravels in plain view, and they're powerless to stop it. Why? Because the divine choreography has begun. This isn't your doing. This is a move of God. The timing of it all, so exact, so deliberate, it could only be orchestrated from heaven. The truth is revealed, right when it cuts deepest, right when hearts are most open, right when minds are most clear. That's not coincidence. That's cosmic order in action. And here you stand, vindicated, not because you fought, but because you endured. Your name is being cleared in rooms you never entered. Your spirit is being honored by eyes that once looked away. And your truth, it's marching forward with power, not a moment too early, not a second too late. Through the worst times, you were shielded by your unwavering character. When outside validation disappeared, your steadfast dedication to your truth kept you going. When it felt easier to compromise, your integrity was maintained by your constant alignment with your true self. When confusion obscured your path, your steadfast adherence to your basic beliefs kept you on course. When external landmarks vanished, your internal compass provided flawless guidance. Your spiritual connection was both a shield and a sword, protecting you from energies that tried to enter your field, slicing through illusions that were intended to divert your attention, and shielding you from attacks that targeted your weakest points. The distinction between truth and falsehood when it became hazy, and the preservation of your direct line to source when interference tried to interfere. Those who opposed you now had to deal with the fallout from their deeds. Not your retaliation, not cosmic equilibrium, not retaliation, not universal law, not punishment, but natural consequences. With flawless accuracy, the energy they aimed against your damage returns to its source. Their external intents are perfectly reflected back to them. They are engulfed in the darkness they tried to pour over you. You rise when they fall. You rise when they fall. You grow when they shrink. You bloom when they die. Every day the difference becomes more pronounced. Your brightness expands as their darkness deepens. Your tranquility grows as their disorder grows. Your clarity sharpens as their confusion rises. Your plenty grows as their scarcity grows. While you boldly march toward your destiny, they go on a lengthy walk of humiliation. Their route is weighed down by exposed deceit. Their feet are delayed by revealed manipulation, and their progress is impeded by challenged lying. You proceed unhindered, your route clear, your purpose connected, your soul free, while their journey was prolonged by the detours of encountered consequences. If you've been touched by God's goodness, don't keep it to yourself. Click Super Thank You and sow a gift of $20 or more to help spread His light. Your giving becomes a ripple of grace, blessing hearts and building His kingdom. Let His overflow pour through you. Ordinary human justice is not sufficient for this enormous unmasking. Layer after layer of deception has been removed by the global forces themselves, exposing the bare reality underneath. The entire fabric of existence refuses to support the illusions they so hard sought to preserve, and the universe itself rejects the lie they tried to pass off as truth. Examine the flawless harmony of their demise. Their own experience now reflects the very patterns they tried to force upon you. Their movements are now restricted by the exact restrictions they attempted to impose on you. The very charges they made against you now characterize their own actions. They now experience the specific penalties they desired for you in their own lives. Their weapons become tools for their own destruction. Their falsehoods turn into the string that holds them together. Their traps turn into the abysses they fall into. Their poisons turn into the cups they drink from. Their fires turn into the flames that devour them. And the storms they call forth turn into the tempests that carry them away. Divine justice permeates every aspect of life. Financial realities as resources inexplicably shift out of their grasping hands. Social ties as alliances fall apart for no apparent reason. Physical manifestations as their bodies register the energetic disturbances their actions caused. Psychological experiences as their minds painfully relive their transgressions. And spiritual awareness as their souls realize the full weight of their decisions. Your recent triumph goes beyond simple self-validation. On a grand divine chronology that resonates beyond dimensions, this is a crucial activation moment. This exact series of circumstances was arranged by the universal forces themselves, placing you in a position to both initiate and benefit from a cosmic recalibration. The time when darkness would reveal itself through its own desperate deeds, when deceit would unravel through its own intricate manipulations, and when manipulation would crumble under its own intricate weight, was the time foretold in the ancient prophecies. This pivotal moment, when those who sought to extinguish the light would be engulfed by their own shadows, was just what the sacred books explained. Prior to manifestation, your soul consented to this mission, to stand at this cosmic crossroads and watch the big unmasking is exactly what you contracted for. These forces would shatter themselves against the immovable object that your spirit offered to be. While reality realigned itself around you, your higher self made a commitment to maintain this space of truth. This moment has far-reaching effects that go well beyond your immediate experience. Witnessing this divine justice is an energizing activation for everyone. Every consciousness experiences a vibrational recalibration while seeing this cosmic rebalancing. Every soul that acknowledges this spiritual validation accelerates its evolutionary process. What seems to be your individual victory is actually a trigger for a collective awakening. This is only the first note of a universal composition that spans several octaves of existence, the first sequence of a divine code that awakens latent spiritual potentials. It is the opening movement of a huge cosmic symphony. What is happening right now is the outward manifestation of a vast universal repatterning, the entire extent of which is beyond the realm of human understanding. The cosmos is with you right now, not when you're ready or tomorrow.